Have you ever prayed for growth and when it finally started to happen, you started to get extremely uncomfortable? Yeah. Well, my name is Tiffany. Merry Christmas. Well, Christmas Eve, I should say, or whenever you're watching this video. Um, we're going to be talking about why growth can feel uncomfortable, even when it's a good thing. There is a part of growth that doesn't often get talked about. Sometimes becoming who you prayed to become feels uncomfortable. And even though it's a good thing, discomfort doesn't always mean it's wrong or that you're off track. Sometimes it just means that there's a lot of change that's going on. And you're expanding beyond what's familiar. God often answers our prayers by stretching us. And I laugh because I'm currently in that season right now. I'm currently experiencing being stretched beyond my comfort zone. I think there hasn't been a part of 2025 that hasn't required me to stretch in some type of way. Um, and stretching can certainly feel unsettling, especially when you start to realize that the old version of yourself no longer fits. Once, what was comfortable, what was easy, what seemed natural, no longer fits that mold anymore. And so life, God, your circumstances start to require more of you and to often drop old things, people, places, things, habits, whatever that might be, to stretch into this new person that you're becoming. And it's so raw. It's a tangible feeling, even though it's something that's happening internally. It's for me, I'll speak for myself. It's very tangible on the skin. Like I feel I'm being stretched, like my skin is being stretched. And so with that comes that tingly sensation of just the pricks of those growing pains of being stretched into something new, being molded into shape and being shaped into something new. And, you know, even though you might feel unsure, you may not have everything figured out right now. You may not even have the next piece figured out. The next 5 days, the next 5 weeks, the next 5 months, the next 5 seconds figured out. That's okay. And you might even feel a little exposed. And I really like that word because it really does feel like you are exposed, like you have to put yourself out there in a way that maybe you're unaccustomed to, especially if you are more of a self reflector, introvert type of person where you are used to going within to reflect, and you may not be so, where a lot of your most intimate thoughts or a lot of your most intimate reflections are on paper or on artwork or in maybe some other creative avenue, or maybe just living in your head. Maybe you're sharing those things in a public space now, or you're letting people in on some of those thoughts, or however you might be expressing that. So it can feel like an exposure because at this point you're dropping, maybe, I don't want to say walls, but maybe you're opening doors to more intimate spaces and places that people may not have been privy to before. Um, and that can be very challenging, especially when you're in a growth period, when you're growing, you're trying to grow something. I was watching a content creator today, and then she's slipping my mind. I think it's Tiny Say or something like that. And she was talking about like your flop era. When you're a tiny creator and you're doing these kind of things and you're posting videos and of course you want it to be seen, but also you have to become very accustomed to your flop era where it may not be where you're getting tons and tons of views or getting a lot of engagement, but what is the long game about? Is it really about you know your own ego and what that means to you? Of course, we all want to see growth in that way, but also we have to lend ourselves to the God's timeline and how he wants to grow that and at the speed he wants to grow it. So we just have to be able to be receptive and hold everything so loosely in this period of time, in this season in our lives. Just hold everything so loosely. And I'm sure you might even be feeling some type of resistance. And those are all indicators that you're on the right track because it's a challenge. It's hard. It's requiring more of you, it's taking something more, something that you may not even be used to. So we just really have to release. We talked about expectations yesterday. Release our expectations around growth and, our faith or my faith. And if you're a believer, your faith asks us to trust God, not just where we're going, but also who we're becoming. Because I've said this time and time again on my channel that a lot of the things that God does for us happens internally before we see it in the physical. And so it can be very jarring in the sense where some of the things that you always thought you would have in your life, some of the people you always thought you would have in your life, some of the things you always thought you would do in your life, you could be in a season where you're like, wow, I never envisioned that I would not have this or these people or be at this place or whatever it might be. And so it's not easy to come to that conclusion that this period in time that your growth requires this of you, and then you be willing to lay it at the feet of God and be like, okay, Lord, take it. I choose to sacrifice everything that is comfort to me, everything that has been familiar to me, to grow into the person you have actually created me to be on this earth. So, yeah. So not a long video, but so if growth feels uncomfortable for you today, I want you to stop. Yes, we are going to breathe again. I want you to pause. I want you to breathe. I want you to lean in. And I want you to trust that God is shaping you with intention, with intention. So I hope you all have a good rest of your evening. Merry Christmas. Lead yourself well so you can serve others better. And we will talk soon. Have a good night. Bye bye.